Hey everyone, it's Vali, and in this video we're diving into Dune Awakening storage circuit system, a powerful tool that can save you a ton of time managing resources and streamline your base operation. Whether you're just getting started or expanding into a more complex setup, here is everything you need to know about circuits, and I have for you some other extra tips, so let's dive into it. Every storage container has a circuit input and output. Every refinery and fabricator also has an input and output circuit. The goal is to match the ins and the outs between containers and refineries fabricators. This will help you keep your items organized and prevent wasting time digging through 10, maybe 20 random boxes. In the early game, you might use a single flow, everything connected to circuit A. That means all the inputs and outputs from containers, refineries, fabricators, everything use the same circuit. But now let's talk about the mid to late game, more advanced setup. As your base grows, you'll likely want to separate systems using different circuits. For example, circuit A for raw resources, circuit B for processed materials. Okay, now let's discuss an example. Here we can see we have a storage. It has the input as circuit 2 and output as circuit 1. Here, for example, we have a small ore refinery. You can see that it has a smaller storage, but it also has circuit 1 and circuit 2 as input and output. Now, let's put this together. On the left, we have the storage container, and on the right, we have the small refinery storage. So here we'll discuss a simple example. We have the output for the storage, it's circuit number 1, and the input for the small refinery, it's circuit number 1. So if these two match, the refinery has access to that box and can automatically take raw resources from there to craft. And since the storage for the refinery has an output of circuit number 2, when the storage of the refinery is full, either if it reaches 5 spaces in this case, because it only has 5 spaces, or if it reaches the volume, which is 200, everything else that is refined here, it will go to any box that has an input of circuit 2. One tip for you is that you don't have to wait for the storage of the refinery to get filled with refined goods in order to spill to other container storages, to other chests. You can do this manually by putting, for example, one Solari in each space or any other items, and this way the storage will be considered full. And when the refinery finishes to process another item, it will automatically be sent to any storage box that has the input as circuit 2. Okay, so for easier understanding, let's look at this diagram. First of all, we have any box or refinery or fabricator. It has an input and an output, right? So we have here with this color circuit number 1, and we have the same input and output. Doesn't really matter the input at this point, because you can just dump everything in those type of storages. They're not used, the input is not used for automation here, but only the output, which is circuit number 1. And you can have like a storage container only for iron and one only for aluminum, or you can just have junk everywhere. Or you can have any storage that outputs circuit number 1. Can have like modules, components, gear, anything. It will provide access to that circuit. And we have the refineries. For this example, we have a basic refinery, an advanced one, and a chemical refinery. And we're using as input circuit number 1, which is with this color here, for all of them. That means they have access to everything in circuit number 1 to be used to refine advanced materials, right? Okay, now everything is simple so far. This is the part when you need to understand how you can use the circuit better in your advantage. So, for example, this basic refinery and the advanced one use the same color, the same circuit as output. We'll say it's circuit number 2. And this will output iron ingot, and this will output aluminum. And we can have like storages that will have input circuit 2 and input output circuit 1. What this means is that these two refineries will take anything in circuit number 1 that they need. It will refine it and it will store it only in storage containers that have as input circuit number 2. So these two are matching, and this can go to any of these two storages, and the advanced one also in any of them. As a separate example, the chemical refinery can take again from any circuit input storage boxes, but for this example I put it into a separate circuit, so we'll call it circuit number 3, and it will only store in this box that you can build and set up to only accept for items that are in circuit number 3. So this way you can separate the items that are being processed by your refineries. You may ask, why do I need to separate? As an example, you can see here that you might also have like boxes only with gear, or only with fuel, or only with modules. And you probably have this on circuit number 1. What happens if this one gets full? Well, you'll have spillover in the other chests, right? So that means when you're searching for gear, you also see like cobalt paste or anything that is processed by the refineries. So you don't want that. You want to keep everything separate, so you don't have to waste time looking for what you need, or looking for space to put items. When you come back from your journey, you want to put some unique items that you found or anything, you can have them in separate boxes. As you can see for the containers, so these are containers with processed materials. These are crafted, and as output I have put them on circuit number 1. And this is because we have fabricators. Fabricators take refined goods like iron, aluminum, and so on, but also take other type of materials like components, and those you'll probably find when exploring, killing enemies, or in the testing stations. So you won't have them in this type of storages. You'll probably have in storages with everything like junk, where you dump any items. So this one will take, the fabricator will take anything from circuit number 1. So any container can fit into this one, and also processed materials, refined materials, can be used in any fabricator. Here I have an example on a setup that you should not do, and I will explain you why. So don't make this mistake. Here we have a storage container with circuit number 1 as input and circuit number 2 as output. And if we set the basic refinery input 2 and output 1, you'll think, well, if I have iron, it will be processed and the iron ingots will go back to that storage. Well, it's true, but not entirely. When this refinery is full, it will overflow to a storage container that has input number 1, correct? But this can also be your gear ones, your fuel ones, or maybe the ones where you keep your vehicle modules. So you don't want to have this happening. This is why I suggest using storages specially assigned for crafted materials. This is a good example on how it works and how you can use it, but you can have also different examples. You may think, well, I can put a storage container that has the same input and output storage with circuit 2 on both ends. And you'll think, well, I want my refinery to only put in circuit number 2 the materials. And then you want, well, I want to use the materials to add them to my fabricator. But this fabricator, for example, will only have circuit number 1 as input. And if you want to change it to circuit number 2, well, you can do that. But if you have some component in your other chests, this won't be able because they are separate. So you can use only one circuit. This is why your components and your crafted materials should be on the same circuit to allow any fabricator to use them. So this doesn't work. I did the tests and I couldn't find a way. The best way is to have everything to be provided in circuit number 1 and just play with the output, and you can have like 10 different type of storages, but they should all provide to circuit number 1 to be able to use it in the fabricator, right? So you have these containers here, and with any other items that you have in your junk container maybe, or you have it sorted out and you have in special containers. This is the way to automate it. If you want to do the manual work and move yourself the items from chest to chest, you can also do that. And talking about moving items from one chest to another, I'm gonna give you a big tip that will help you a lot. So for example, when you're trying to move iron from your vehicles to the storage, or from storage A to storage B, and it's like really heavy, you need to do multiple trips, well, there's a way to avoid this and make it real simple. What you need to do is go to a storage container. You'll see on the right the items in the container, and on the left the backpack. If you haven't used it before, there is a drop down in the top left screen. If you have a sand bike, a buggy, or any vehicle with storage, you can access the inventory of those vehicles from this page. So what you can do is switch to the sand bike or the buggy, move the items from the storage container to the buggy, and then move to the next container, use the drop down, select the buggy, and move the items from the buggy to the new storage container. If it's not obvious, this is also how you should move items from the inventory of your vehicles to your storage. So especially if they are heavy, don't do many trips, just go to the storage, select the vehicle instead of the backpack, and do the transfer from here. Another extra tip that I'm gonna give you is if you have multiple boxes and they are spread around your base because you cannot stack them, well, there is a workaround to this. You can use half walls and ceiling or floor pieces, and this way you can stack multiple boxes. That's it for this quick guide on storage circuit. Mastering this system will make your crafting way smoother and your base way more efficient and organized. If this helped, drop a like and check the description for more Dune Awakening tips. There is a playlist that you may want to take a look at. Hey, and if you haven't started and if you are looking for a guild, you can check the community on Discord if you want to group up or just discuss about Dune. See you on Arrakis. Bye bye.